Thank you for joining me today as we talk about coaching and mentoring. In this session, we will be looking at the difference between coaching and mentoring, developing coaching and mentoring strategies, developing methods that increase the quality of feedback, designing systems that ensure timely and meaningful communication, and formulating techniques to improve individual performance. While there may be some similarities, coaching and mentoring are two very different styles. The goal of both revolves around supporting the development of an individual. However, the approach to achieving those results, the type of development, and the relationship between the parties is different in both cases. Mentoring is often a longer relationship between someone who's more experienced, the mentor, and less experienced, the mentee. Mentors will often give advice and actually show the mentee what to do or how to do it. The focus is on developing the mentee professionally, where the mentee is in charge of the agenda and reaching out to the mentor as needed. In the mentor and mentee relationship, the mentor is the expert with experience, showing the mentee how to do something. Coaching typically has a set time frame and is more structured in nature, with regularly scheduled meetings. And coaches do not necessarily need to have direct understanding of the job performed by the coachee. And it often involves focusing on developing goals and meeting specific needs of the coachee at the time. In the coach and coachee relationship, the coachee is often the expert, and the coach is simply pulling that knowledge out of the coachee. Both coaching and mentoring strategies can be very helpful in eliminating or at least reducing undesirable behaviors in the workplace. More often than not, according to Marshall Goldsmith, what holds people back are simple behavioral tics, these bad habits that we repeat dozens of times a day in the workplace, which can be cured by pointing them out and showing the havoc they cause among the people we work with, and ultimately demonstrating that with a slight behavioral tweak, we can achieve a much more appealing effect. When focusing on behavioral change, there are some key steps to keep in mind. The first step in any successful intervention to improve behavior is to acknowledge those habits we need to break or those areas we need to improve upon. The next step is willingness to change. If someone is not willing to change, no amount of coaching is going to be successful. Other very important factors to include in the process is support on the part of the coach and or your leaders, positive encouragement, honesty, trust, confidentiality, and a clear follow-up plan to evaluate the effectiveness of the change. Giving and receiving feedback is an essential leadership skill. Employees want to know how they're doing and if they're achieving the goals that have been set for them. But according to Marshall Goldsmith, there's a fundamental problem with feedback because it focuses on the past, on what's already occurred, not on the infinite variety of things that can be in the future. And people are inherently more receptive to positive feedback than negative, and we will rarely see actual change by focusing on the problem. Negative feedback often becomes an exercise in, let me prove you wrong. This tends to produce defensiveness on the part of the receiver. However, feed forward can provide an alternative to feedback and cover almost all the same material as feedback. Effective communication and teamwork starts at the top, where our executives, leaders, and managers are setting the example for us. For team building to be effective, where communication is timely and meaningful, the team must be part of the process in building that team cohesion and must also see the value of working as a team. Greater improvement in teamwork tends to occur when the team members develop their own behavioral change strategies, rather than just executing a strategy that's been given to them or imposed upon them by someone else. And the focus must be on self-improvement within the team for it to be ultimately effective. When it comes to coaching models, there is a variety to choose from. Two very effective models are the GROW and STEPA model. The GROW model is a simple yet powerful tool for structuring coaching interventions. First, you establish the goal. Where do we want to get to? Then we examine the current reality. Then we explore all the options of how can we get to the goal. Then we establish the will. Ultimately, are we willing to make the changes that need to be made to get to where we want to be? And in the STEPA model, the subject is where we identify the issue facing the coachee. Then we target the identification, where we target those goals and make sure they're achievable. And emotion is a huge motivating and demotivating factor in any coaching relationship, so we have to keep a close watch on this. Perception and choice is where the coachee, where their perception is widened as the coach questions and challenges them. Plan and pace is the stage where the plan leads to the target. And adapt or act is where we put the plan into action and remain flexible to meet the needs of the coachee. Whichever method we choose, in the end, the most important factor to consider in the process is the success of the coachee. Thank you for your time today, and I look forward to our mutual success.